Good evening, I'm Paul Adler. Springfield Public Schools has confirmed it's one of 20 districts under investigation. The U.S. Department of Education says it's in response to allegations of sexual misconduct involving employees. Ashley Berry explains the investigation and has the school's response.
The Department of Education's Office for Civil Rights Inquiry into Springfield Public Schools is part of a national K-12 initiative targeting sexual misconduct by school employees. The 20 districts were chosen based on civil rights submissions from 3 years ago. The department says responses raise concerns about how allegations are handled. No one from Springfield schools would do an interview, but the Chief Communication Officer, Stephen Hall, said in a statement, "The safety and well-being of students is of paramount importance. Springfield Public Schools will work cooperatively with OCR to address an inquiry regarding past reporting, policies, and procedures." Local child advocates say often the hardest step for students is telling someone.
When a child does come forth and make a statement or voice a concern, it's very important that any adult in their life listen and listen closely, and that we take the appropriate steps following that disclosure statement.
The Secretary of Education says the investigation aims to stop what she calls passing the trash, letting employees accused of sexual misconduct move to new school jobs at other schools.
And when our community goal is to protect all of our children, then being open to oversight and ensuring that everyone who interacts with children are following the appropriate policies that truly address child safety, then that is the best thing that we as a community can do.
Federal investigators will now determine whether SPS had appropriate policies and procedures in place and accurately reported and responded to each case. For KY3 News, I'm Ashley Berry.